Hello and welcome to One Man Think Tank. We've got some news that's going to be important both nationally and for the upcoming Georgia special elections, or runoff elections rather. The U.S. Congress is expected to vote on decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level in December. Now, this is not the full U.S. Congress, this is only the House of Representatives. Given the fact that Republicans control the Senate, they will most likely not bring this up for a vote. However, there are a few key notes we need to take away from this. First off, this bill's coming up for a vote, and it will most likely pass. Not only is its original sponsor, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, but also Nadler, who's got some pretty big sway in the U.S. House, but also the fact that Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, the number 2 Democrat in the Senate, has said they're bringing it up for a vote. That means it's going to pass. You rarely bring up bills that you don't think are going to pass unless you either want it to fail or it's not a big deal. With something as big as marijuana decriminalization, this is going to be a big deal. Now, what is decriminalization? What it does is it means marijuana would essentially no longer have federal crimes attached to it, except for possibly fines if you get caught with it. So, as you can see, criminal penalties for those who manufacture, distribute, or possess marijuana would be eliminated. Meaning if you are caught producing marijuana, there is no federal charge for you, or purchasing it, owning it, whatever. There's no federal charge, so no prison, nothing like that. And as far as I remember, no fines or fees at all. It would also do a 5% annual cannabis tax, which is just pretty common, and it would specifically direct it to support communities impacted by the war on drugs. And also, really key here, it puts the job of regulating marijuana to the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Administration. I feel like there's so you'd have marijuana on top of that, which would mean so marijuana would become regulated like alcohol, which is the states get to decide. There are some states where most counties don't let you buy alcohol still. Looking at you, Arkansas. But what would happen is, states which have it legalized could have it fully legalized, put their money in banks, no criminal penalties whatsoever. Those who haven't would be allowed to keep it illegal, but you would no longer have to worry about if you're transporting marijuana over state lines or anything like that. It would be entirely up to the states. And also, it doesn't mention it here, it would also expunge some of the sentences for people who have been caught with marijuana offenses at the federal level, letting them re-enter society after their charge. Overall, this is it's not the most progressive marijuana bill because it doesn't put money to encouraging states to legalize. So, for example, with alcohol, the federal government withholds highway funds if you don't set your drinking age to 21. That's why every state has a legal drinking age of 21. So right now it would just be, okay, it's up to the states. We're not going to set up a particular thing, but we will regulate at the federal level for interstate travel. Otherwise, it's up to the states. And it does provide a model for essentially ending the war on drugs. If statutes such as the ones in Oregon pass, where mass decriminalization of all drug offenses becomes a thing, and that's proven to be very effective at not only fighting mass incarceration, but also helping cut down on deaths due to drug use. But, so that's really important in general. If this passes, we've essentially, the federal government can't legalize marijuana. Like I said, they'd have to withhold money from states to try and, coerce them into doing it. But it would be essentially an end of the federal fight over marijuana legalization. It would be de facto legal in the U.S., with the states then making it illegal. The default point now would be marijuana is legal, and that would very quickly, I think, cause national marijuana legalization, except in certain states that have been very resistant, such as Idaho. It's the only state where it's fully criminally illegal still. But there's another really big point in this bill. Democrats are passing... marijuana is a very popular proposal. Legalizing it, I mean. Including in Georgia. So what the Democrats are doing is, in December, they're going to be passing this bill, which is essentially a big, we're legalizing marijuana take. The Senate will not vote on it. The Senate does not have the votes to vote on it. Because to give you an idea, right now, the Senate, it used to be 47-53. It's now 48-52. If both Georgia senators don't vote, Republicans can still win. But if they don't pass the bill, that's great publicity for the Democrats to argue why they need control of the Senate. They can go in and they can just say, look, the Senate's not voting on marijuana. We want to legalize it. Republicans don't. And that could be enough to get some suburbanites out who won't vote, people who are single-issue marijuana voters. There aren't that many. Or people who know other people with marijuana convictions who want to get them out of prison. All of those are very important things that could pass. So, that could come to pass, not with the bill, but will encourage turnout. So, watch what happens with this bill with a bit of interest. Will it be the one thing that sways an election? Probably not. But also, if it could be, we could very well see it passed through the Senate, and I don't think Trump would pocket veto it. I think it would just end up being made into law. So, well, we could see a marijuana legalization before the end of the year. I think that's an unlikely scenario, unless it does look like it could have a big effect in the Georgia election. So, with all that being said, if you like the video, drop a like down below and also leave a comment. I'm curious about your opinions. If you want to see more from the channel, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted when new content comes out. If you want to hear more from me outside of YouTube, I do have a Twitter, @OneManThinkTan1, the Roman numeral, link in the description below. And as always, and most importantly, have a wonderful day.